You are 7 years old, and you already know the exact sound of your mother counting the same $5 bill 3 times. You don't know it's called poverty yet. You just know the sound. By the time you're 40, you won't remember what that sound was. That's the part nobody warns you about. Your name is on a wait list for reduced lunch before you can spell your own last name. You share a mattress with your brother. You know which side of the bed creaks, and you've trained your body not to roll onto it after midnight. Your mother works 2 jobs that don't add up to one good one. She leaves before you wake up and comes home after you're supposed to be asleep. Some nights, you stay up just to hear the door. At school, a teacher notices something. You're fast with numbers, faster than the kids whose parents drive them in. She writes a note home. Your mother reads it twice, folds it into a drawer, and doesn't mention it again for a year. Not because she doesn't care, because she doesn't have room in her day to hope about something she can't control yet. Here is what people get wrong about this stretch of your life. They think the danger is the empty fridge or the eviction notice taped to the door or the space heater that runs all December. Those things are real, but the actual danger is quieter. It's the way scarcity teaches you before you're old enough to argue with it that wanting things is a mistake. That hope costs something you can't afford to spend twice. Size. You learn to want less. Not because you have less, you already knew that, but because wanting is the part that hurts. By 16, your father works 2 jobs, same as your mother did. But something is different now. He's proud of it, plainly. He talks about the overtime the way other men talk about a promotion. This is the last stretch of your life where status doesn't exist yet. Where a full-time job is just a full-time job, not a rank. A scholarship offer comes in the mail. Not a big one. Enough. Your best friend, the one you've known since the mattress sharing days, doesn't get one. You don't talk about it, not directly. But something shifts between you that neither of you names. You are about to leave a place your best friend can't follow. Neither of you knows this is the first of many times it will happen. First semester, you meet people whose parents just paid. Paid the deposit, paid the tuition gap, paid for the flight home for Thanksgiving without doing the math first. You start noticing things you were never taught to notice. Which fork? What to say when someone asks what your father does? How to laugh at a joke about a vacation home like you've been on one. Nobody tells you class isn't only about money at this stage. It's about who explains the unwritten rules to you, casually like they're nothing, and who doesn't. Because to them, you're the one who's supposed to already know. You start rehearsing yourself. A little more each semester. You call it adapting. It is. It's also the first time you edit yourself for people who will never know you did it. Years later, you have a good job now, the kind your mother says out loud to other people, like a fact she's proud to hand over. You call home less. Not because you stopped loving them. You're tired, and your new world runs on a schedule that doesn't leave room for the long, slow phone calls your mother wants. The ones where she just talks about her day. No destination, just company. This is the first real cost, and it's easy to miss because it doesn't look like a cost. It looks like growth. It looks like a calendar that's finally full of things that matter. But somewhere in that calendar, there's a version of you that used to answer on the second ring. That version is gone, and you didn't notice the exact day it left. A few years further in, your sister texts you the date 8 months out. You put it in your calendar immediately. You mean it when you tell her you'll be there. 4 months later, the fund's annual dinner gets scheduled the same weekend, the one where you'll finally get introduced to the partners as one of theirs, not one of the associates. You tell yourself you'll fly out for the reception at least. Just the reception. You'll leave the dinner early? You don't leave early. At 9:47 that night, mid-toast to a fund's returns, your phone lights up. A photo from the wedding, your seat, front row, empty. Your name card still standing on the table because nobody moved it. Because everyone assumed right up until the ceremony started that you were still coming. Quietly, you don't cry. That's the part that scares you more than crying would. You save the photo. You turn back to the table. You keep talking. This is the part of the climb nobody warns you about because it doesn't look like a crisis from the outside. You have money now. You have a title. Your mother says your job out loud to strangers again prouder than ever, but you don't have what the people around this table have. They were born already belonging here. You are still performing it every day in ways so small you've stopped noticing you're doing it. Back when you had nothing, the thing working against you was outside of you. Scarcity, circumstance, something you could point at. Here, the thing working against you is you. You can watch yourself choose the dinner over the wedding in real time, and you do it anyway. And some part of you already knows exactly what it cost and pays it without flinching. This is the part that hollows you out, not the bottom. The middle of the climb, where you're closest to who you used to be and furthest from the person who would have picked differently. Eventually you arrive. Boards, networks, a kind of security you used to only imagine. Arrival is quiet, quieter than you expected. You notice the people at this table never mention money directly, not because they're hiding it, but because it's assumed. The way weather used to be a safe thing to talk about, in every room you've ever walked into. You're fluent in this language now. You had to learn it as an adult, memorize it word by word, the way you'd study a country before visiting it. Everyone else at the table was born speaking it. You've gotten good enough that most of them can't tell the difference anymore. You can. Decades on, there's generational wealth now. The kind that outlives you and doesn't ask permission first. No consequence can find you here. Nothing in this room can hurt you. And this is the part that surprises you. Nothing in this room can reach you either. You spent your whole life afraid. You are not afraid anymore. You expected relief. What you got instead is closer to nothing at all. You started in a room too small for the people in it, counting a bill that never had enough zeros. You end in a room too big for the one person left in it, with more zeros than you can spend. Nobody warned you the climb led away from comfort. It led toward silence.